the Rift to see how it all plays out. We've got a Nocturne versus a LeBlanc. We've got a Lee Sin, Ahri. Level 6 hits for XL and nothing has happened in that mid lane. I get nervous.
Yeah, I mean, rightfully so, right? I just want to see this Nocturne. We saw it from Singularity on Monday. It did not look convincing at all. This time around, though, I really want to see them just get Nocturne to 6, play from there with their heavy mid-jungle style, and honestly, as I mentioned, they can just go to the side. Do you want to play for the top side with the Gnar, or do you just want to make sure that the Illusion is going to be dumpstering people? Vanir now, though, not gonna be looking to go quiet into the Rift once again, some vision early.
And we've seen a lot of Nautilus Braum today. Quite a lot, in fact, significantly more than I was anticipating. Both champions are notoriously very potent at level 1. There was a bit of a look in there from Vanir to see whether anybody could get caught out, but it'll just be a warden for the red buff. A little more to be found right now.
Yeah, and one thing that surprises me the most...
Look at your eyes, you look a little bit quizzical.
I'm a bit shocked. I'm not sure if this is intended or not. Venser, I respect you, man. Ignite on Lucian.
Okay.
Against Ahri, Ezreal, don't you want exhaust or heal? I mean, you don't. Let's see if he can.
So I mean, this is Venser.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who, for most of, for like the first half to 2/3 of spring, did a little bit of trolling, did a little bit of inting. He was the death leader by quite a significant margin for AD carries. He had a very large share of the death for his team over on Dusty. And then things started turning around. We saw Caitlyn Lux lanes, we saw an incredible playoffs run where Venser absolutely slapped kids. It was brutal, brutal stuff. And this is kind of the playstyle. It's all in, it's very aggro. You've got Lucian Braum, which is a kill lane to begin with. Add in the Ignite to make sure it's Venser that picks up the kills. I see it. It is just very front foot, shall we say.
Yeah, not something I've seen in quite some time, but if you tell me that Venser, maybe he knows this, like he knows that he's gonna be having maybe quite a lot of deaths in the early split and just saying, I mean, hey man, just give into it, get the Ignite, go to play for the kill lane, maybe he trades some kills. If you trade 1 for 2, right, you're super happy. And let's see if he can make it work. I'm gonna have to ask him after the game if it's intended or not, but nevertheless, respectable. We see both junglers pathing the bot side, but
they are indeed little ways off as, of course, Lee Sin has got to that level 3 nice and early. Dan trying to get to that level 6 as quick as he can. We'll check in with the fans at home as well while we're waiting to see what things going on. The mighty Duck Nana checking it out from a very fancy looking workstation, battle station. Look at that keyboard, LGB. I am well jealous.
That is the cleanest setup we've seen so far. You know, we saw we've seen a lot of cute pictures. We saw the first one, about to touch on grass, but I'm not gonna talk about that. That's not enough, because Grace is looking for bot side.
Trying to see whether XL are at their battle stations. A good dash away from Venser, but it's still a 2 versus 3. The door has done a lot of work for FGG thus far. Ignite and Exhaust go down, trying to go in. First blood to Kraox. Flash now out from Venser. Remember, there is no heal. He's burned that Ignite, and the Summoner spell will bite him in the butt as Kraox picks up a second.
Super creative gank there from Kraox. He knows that this bush is warded here at the little brush outside the lane, and I mean, he just knows it. He just goes for this, skips the camp. We saw Pop doing the same thing around the last game, but he did not get quite the kills for it. But Kraox now with double kill is gonna base really early, not even gonna finish his blue buff, gonna do that later, and I mean, super creative there from Vanir. Good shit.
We've seen all summoners down on that bot side now, plus Kraox's flash addition as Ericsson will get the solo kill. M&S thought he had it, couldn't quite make it work. The Ignite's not enough. And that's a 0-1 for our solo kill leader in the mid lane, who decides to donate 1 over to his lane opponent.
The solo kill king getting soloed by Ericsson. I think he wanted to pop the Ignite there, was not in range enough, but I mean, just look here, just looks super easy, right? Venser has to push in the wave, and Nautilus uses the flash. Looks super clean from there. They actually get all of the summoners as well. Even the Ignite from Venser. Not sure the heal would have saved them, but 2 good kills for
Yeah, and I gotta call it. They tried to fight that in the 2v3, and honestly, it kind of got a bit messy there. I think Venser could have just given that one up. Unfortunately, the moment we saw FGG flash, and there was still the Q1 to get Lee Sin behind the Lucian as well. A few things were wrong, and then there's this solo kill in mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the kind of what can happen sometimes, right? I mean, super clean E there actually from M&S. If he gets the Ignite off just a bit sooner, Ericsson's just dead. But I mean, obviously, well played from Ericsson. Manages to stay calm in that exchange, and now the bot wave is kind of rough for XL. Not gonna lie.
It's not great. Zaremba's here, as is Kraox. He's back at the scene of the crime. I'm gonna see whether they get some more. Of course, Vanir are currently 1-0. Remember, this is a team that changed out their whole roster. And they actually, honestly, had a pretty good showing in spring. It wasn't championship winning, but it was a strong showing. They were a solid 4th in the split. As M&S takes a hefty trade that goes Ericsson's way, especially they're missing the chains there. LeBlanc, as spoken to me by Nightmare, is someone who's happy to take those HP trades into the RE over the minion trades because you can just trade that out a little bit better with more spells available. But at the minute, Ericsson now with the level 6 could well look for even more punish, and that's another reset from M&S. Probably when he doesn't want to be there as Zaremba on the bot side. Gonna try and trade this one up, but Dan is around. Zaremba gonna get traded back. Remember, he's only level 3. FGG goes down. That'll be Merps picks that one up, but it's a 1-for-1 this time. Dan gets that one. Now Venza and Dan trying to trade those out. The Ignite comes down because, of course, they've got it. It's gonna be 1 back, and they'll make it a 3-for-2 all in all.
Damn. I mean, Venser with Ignite just coming back up, making sure he gets dividends from taking that summoner. And I mean, I thought for sure Vanir was gonna get that fight going, but you see the power of Braum, even though he goes down, manages to get the passive off, and it's just history from there.
There's Ericsson who's come down. That's the power of having the pressure in mid lane. Pops the ultimate. Venser trying to trade up best they can. Actually doing a lot of work now. Ericsson in danger. No mana and no ultimate, so Roam's bot doesn't get anything for it. Venser gets out alive, and we'll see this play again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, both top supporters kind of trading each other, and then Venser with the Ignite. I think I was sure Vanir was gonna win this fight with the Lee Sin, with the Merps, with the full stack on this passive. But JDX looks like they just one-tap them. That is not gonna happen next week in the durability patch. Let me tell you that.
You've decided that's the way it is. We saw a shadow flying overhead there from something or somewhere. As Hezero gonna get chunked out pretty heavily. Dan is around, but he's gonna try to get his turn fleeing. He's gonna get some healing back from those Dark Blades. Flash for the Q3, and FGG goes down.
Yeah, I mean, FGG looks super good, right? He just has time, has kind of free time to go up to the top side. But now when he dies like this is illegal. You cannot do this, because now you're kind of forcing Venser to give up at least some farm. And he's going to be able to respect this. M&S though
gets ignited. The chains go wide though, and that will mean Krex gets out alive. No flash. He would have died there. Yeah. Unfortunately, 3 chains down. That will be the summoner cost from M&S, but force him out of the jungle. He'll be able to heal off of wolves and probably be just fine.
Yeah, and this just gives, I mean, a good play there from M&S, right? Good try. Doesn't get Krex in the end, but this gives Ericsson another opportunity to kind of go and pressure onto the bot side. Excel's bot lane really have to play safe here.
And remember, M&S has gone for the Ignite, not the teleport, and that's now 2 attempts at the solo kills that haven't quite worked out. Both have been pretty close, let's be fair. But right now, it's not quite worked out, and Ericsson will likely have that advantage with the teleport coming up in about 2 minutes or so. Of course, the last time we went for the roam didn't really make it work out, but Kreox, replacing Noodle of all people, 4-1-on-1 on this Lee Sin. Creative Gangpot gets a double kill down there, is continuing to be a nuisance for the side of JDXL, who looked so dominant in their first game. Good stuff from Vanir right now to start themselves up. Yeah, not that far ahead, but the proactivity has been good to see.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure, right? And Kreox, one of those junglers that we talked about in the pregame show, both today and on a Monday. Diamond Prox, obviously coming in with so much hype to the league. But Kreox actually was one of the junglers who were able to kind of match him in the LCL last time around, and now seeing
the other 4-0 player.
Yes, now seeing him kind of pop off in this early game, and Vanir being already 1-0 down and now have the lead against JDXL. With what I will say is not a favorable draft at all. I think JDXL still has so many tools
for sure
to play through, but now they get this Herald and they can kind of decide the tempo of the game.
Hear ye, level 6 has been hit for Nocturne. Prepare for some paranoia. It's not quite Halloween, but Nocturne will do the best to put a cosplay onto the Rift. Anyway, time to see how much impact you can get out of that first ultimate. Doesn't have much in the way of CDR as yet, though, because that's looking like a very strict rush towards a Stridebreaker. I know the likes of Kobe and Azael from over in NA do really rate some early CDR stacking before you pop that ultimate to make sure you get more coming through. As Cries, trying it with Hezero, just going to get a fairly decent trade here. There is a World Ender that's going to have to be popped. Cries now down into Mini, going to take a massive chunk, needs to be a little afraid. But gets away with that one as Kreox is bot side.
Yeah, he surely is, but Dan is here as well. It's gonna be a fight here.
Turn around, and that's the passive already brought Winter's fight coming through. A kill to Venzu, who hasn't popped the Ignite as yet. Culling now coming through. Merps to take that much damage. The Sonic Wave lands, but will there be a Resonant Strike? There is. Flash on the tower, trying to get some more. It's 2 back as Merps gets a hold of Braum. Now he's gonna try and look for Venzu as well. No heal, no hope. M&S is here, but Ericsson under the tower gonna use the ultimate to just home in and make that one free. Has got another charge of the ultimate to keep going forward. M&S going to try and hop forward. Hezero trading up with Cries on the top side. Big chunks comes through. Force a flash out from the Abyssal Chains. And M&S can't make anything happen in the bot side. Vanir, their plays are coming out favored right now.
I just love to see these teams where you would expect JDXL coming in as kind of huge favorites after this game. You know, they
completely.
Even though they were kind of they didn't quite get to their full potential last split around where they got knocked out by Riddle. But obviously, you look at their players, you would think they have an edge. But Vanir, they are not scared to take these fights. And I mean, they just pop the Herald now on bot side. They get a couple of kills, and they're just outplaying them basically.
They are right now, and a lot of that is on this Lee Sin getting so far ahead. Sessio just deletes Vanir. A Q order will get it one now. Dan is going to try and win this one at best they can. It is a 1v2, but not for long as FGG is here. That will mean Dan gets the kill. FGG is not required, but he'll take the XP regardless. At least it's a 1-for-1. But remember, Crayox can start putting pressure on elsewhere. They're going to get plates in mid lane. And that is still going to be Vanir making sure it's not a trade for nothing.
Yeah, and speaking about outplays, right, we're gonna see this bot Reaper first. Looks so good initially, right, for for JDXL. They don't get one-tapped on the engage. They managed to get the Saremba. FGG also, you know, popping the stopwatch really clean there, but I mean, they're just getting so shanked in this exchange, and Ericsson has had the move from mid first so many times in this early game, and it just shows here, they're just able to fight.
Does indeed get there early, and of course when you see the kick that forces the Nocturne away from the other damage dealers, he can't keep trading, kicks him through two people, the health bar lead gets too extreme, and then this one is just a little bit too much. Crayox has to flash, that comes to bite him back just a few moments later, because at this one, a Q auto just murders the Gnar.
Yeah, I mean, Hestia, once again, I mean, for sure he knows that Dan is coming here, right? But he doesn't care. He knows that the only way out is in. One shot cries before he gets the Mega Gnar. Can't quite finish Dan off, but I mean, you know, that's kind of a mental edge already. You kind of 1v2ing. Actually, FGG showing up on the top side as well.
1v3, yeah.
Basically. So, I mean, huge respect for Zero. This is one guy that I have like the least info from this team, actually. I haven't seen him quite so much.
So remember, this is a guy who was over on Team Esker. He was at EU Masters alongside a lot of the other players recently. Of course, there's been some discussion around the strength of the Polish teams in a lot of ways because for the Ultra Liga, they've bled a lot of players. So many of their players have gone on to LEC, to the LFL, to other regions. But Hesser was on that team, had a pretty good showing with UCAM, and is now here on Vanir, replacing the likes of Nile, and that's the kind of stuff you like to see coming in on a roster that's been completely replaced, justifying that choice right now, it feels.
Yeah, and I mean, we talked about it in the show as well. There's such a flip, and not a flip, but such a like huge investment to replace all of your players, especially when they did not have a bad split last time around at all. They were kind of performing well. To replace everyone, it's just super risky, very bold, yeah. But so far, paying off. Zero, they're kind of playing well all over the map. Ericsson, you know, has been got that solo kill early in the game, and MNS bit too greedy with that ignite, but looks just really solid. I'm just kind of curious now to see how it's gonna pan out in the mid game. We have JDXL with one Drake. Vanir, you know, could look to potentially contest the next one with that good river control that they currently have.
Yeah, there's wards absolutely everywhere. See whether the side of JDXL can clean them out in time. 30 seconds or so until that Drake. Both top laners will have teleport available, as Hezero now is available. Mega Gnar just about up for Cries as well, so it will probably fall off before the Drake. And that will be a slight frustration for them, not quite timed perfectly. But either way, it's a 2,000 gold lead to the side of Vanir. No one right now feeling willing to go and stand in the river, though the zombie wards have turned what was a forest of red wards Vanir into a forest of blue for XL, and they'll now return the favor of sweeping out all that vision control. Yeah,
and I think this game is so much about like being first on the river. You don't see a lot of tanks on the side of each team anyways. So really hard to like phase check these. Get so much CC from coming in from Vanir, also from XL. So you really want to be first on river. And this next midway now, Drake has spawned, but this midway is actually really important because it gives you access to the river, and it looks like Vanir is gonna get it.
Absolutely, they are going to come in RXL to push them back out. MNS fighting for the mid-wave control, and they'll get the Skull Crab as well, will JDXL. But remember, Vanir going to start roaming around to see whether they can test as well. MNS on his side, Crayox has got Flash, Kick available, 5, 1, and 2 right now on the lead, and having a fantastic now as MNS gets out the Everfrost, continuing to try and keep Ericsson on his toes. Still just a little bit of a standoff, a bit of a stalemate in the river.
Yeah, and this is not what we saw last game around. Like every time someone went to the river, Singularity just kind of got popped. Now both teams kind of playing a bit more respectfully. And I just have to say, Actually, I'm not gonna talk.
He's got the lane gank. Krayox is here, but Dan's behind. We saw this before. What will happen this time? There's the paranoia. Down goes Zaremba. Teleport now coming through from Meganar Cries. They're going to get some more. Land the Q onto Merge, but a little more. He's got a bit of a speed buff there from the teleport, but little more to be found. And they'll just retreat back to the Dragon. They've got the Nautilus. They'll take the Dragon as a surprise, unless Krayox can find a way to make this one work. Ericsson's over here. True Shot barrage is in. Ericsson into the back end. Doesn't really land the Everfrost, though. Still going to be a fight. Cries down in Mini. In comes the teleport from Zero. M&S going to come over. Dragon secured by Dan, but the Delph bars aren't fantastic. Krayox goes down, though. That'll be Vanir who picks that one up, but it's 2 back already. FGG falls. It's a 3-for-1. And it is big shutdowns that will be coming across for Vanir. A double kill to Zero, and I apologize. It was Venza who picked the shutdown, of course, onto Krayox, who fell in that fight.
Once again, I mean, Ericsson is just first to the fight. He managed to get in there. Krayox also gets in there. They did not manage to get the Drakes or Silver Line in there for XL, but I feel like M&S is just kind of, he's not lost, but they're just kind of disoriented with the team. He's not first there. He's not able to join the fight as fast as Ericsson is, and it just looks kind of free for Vanir. Obviously, JDXL first now. This is kind of identical gang than what happened. They're able to turn this around, but even then, Cries, you know, TPing maybe a bit excessive.
We're looking for a bit more, doesn't really get it, and they decide, right, with that extra man, we're going to go to get this Dragon, and they do secure it, but Ericsson's there first. And honestly, M&S on this other side, despite being level as Evan, despite being on his LeBlanc, doesn't really get all that much done.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you can kind of expect this though, right? I mean, Vanir playing for the bot side, yeah, the XL also choosing to go for the bot side there. And I mean, I guess Ericsson just has the item completed. He has the Airfrost already, so of course he's gonna get prio in that lane, and then he just kind of straight sailing from there. He's first on the objective, and once again, XL gets the Drake, which I think it would have been quite a disaster if they didn't, because now they can still be able to stack it. It's gonna be an Infernal Soul. So I mean, not a bad Drake at all.
Oh. Big chunk though, and M&S might be looking to get the solo kill anyway. It'll be a flash from Ericsson plus the ultimate to try and escape from dodge. In comes Dan, gets the kill. It's a shutdown, and the Ari goes down. Now look at the other side. That's a very dead Zaremba flashing away, and he's actually not quite as dead as I supposed. Just out of range of the culling. I thought he was dead to rights. Over the wall goes M&S with the blast cone, and they're going to get a hold of this blue buff as well. Vanir get away with only losing the one, but it does cost them a little bit more than they were hoping for.
And this is why you have to love a player like M&S, right? He's got solo kill there when he tried to dive Ericsson really early, but even now when he's behind, it doesn't matter. He's not scared to go for this plate, go for the solo kills, and there you get the shutdown onto Ericsson. Now M&S is gonna be able to stabilize this lane a bit.
It's slight leads for Ericsson and Mervs. Bit more of one for Cries is Krayox. Trading out with M&S will not hit the Sonic Wave and gets rooted in place by the Ethereal Chains, and M&S holds his nerve.
Yeah, I mean, he just looks super solid right now. We see also Dan, who actually feel like he's been kind of, not silent, but he's just been kind of counter-ganking.
He's got 100% KP, like he's been involved everywhere.
Yes, and he's also for this, like almost for the CS up on this knockdown. He's huge, man.
And remember, on the Monday, it was the Wukong that absolutely demolished X7 in the early game. Made MC's Nidalee very difficult to pilot, and then it was M&S later on in the game when the Akali really started picking up those solo kills. And Dan right now, kind of in that similar vein, the Nocturne that has been said to be pretty strong. A little bit less counted this time because, of course, Vanir played against Singularity's Nocturne on Monday and had a full draft to make it difficult. This time around, not really able to shut that pick out. Was doing very well. 5, 2, and 3, up in farm, up in kills, 100% kill participation as already stated. Down in a very strong position here to potentially continue holding control for XL in this game. So M&S over the wall, gets a big chunk, but it's now going to be traded back out. M&S gets that one, a solo kill for the solo bolo kick.
And there we have him. I was just waiting, man, like when are we gonna get this? And 18 minutes into the game, he finally gets his first one. Might not be the last one, but this is actually so huge for XL. I was just looking at the Vanir's comp, and it felt like they're kind of having pressure everywhere right now, with the Atrix on the side also being so super strong. They might fight this though, as mentioned.
Nocturne is down the ultimate, and they might feel this is okay. Here comes a teleport behind though, and now it's a 3v4. Ericsson, no teleport, still dead for 10 seconds, in goes good Krayox, but he has been exhausted. Now they're trying to run away. The culling comes through, gets a big chunk. Has Zero in a difficult position. Dan on a rampage will secure the side of Zaremba, who is crushed down in that river. Venza now having to dash away, takes a bit of a chunk, and the range from Merms proving a little bit obnoxious as XL backing away from the Herald, continuing to try and look for pressure instead in this mid lane. Of course, with Infernal Drake spawning in 40 seconds, maybe to decide, look, the Herald less valuable than that right now.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, right, if JDX can get his hands on this Drake as well, it's gonna put a lot of mental pressure onto Vanir, and they are gonna use this time to get the mid tower now. MN is basing, right? But this could mean that Hezir also needs to base maybe for the Drake, and he does have the teleport, but I mean, this Drake is just gonna be super important to get for both teams.
Of course, Vanir, despite losing the man, used the opportunity on resets, secure a mid lane tower, secure control of this river, because the fight they really want to go for is this Infernal Drake. Paranoia, though, is back up. Down will have that available for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the XL. They're gonna have almost every single flash coming up just in a few seconds, while Ericsson's flash is down. Hezir's flash gonna come back up, and Noda's flash also down. And now it's just about kind of the poke. I think Vanir is kind of in a comfortable state here. They still have first access to the river. Hezir is gonna TPing in. They're gonna start off the Drake.
M&S on a flank here. FGG down to half, and Zaremba and the rest of Vanir all very happy at that full HP. Dan goes in, but he's too little, too late. He's likely to go down, charmed up by Ericsson and secured by Merbs. Heziro tanks are culling. M&S gonna get a decent root. Not quite enough damage to turn it back around. Goes back in with a double distort. Trying to get some more damage, but he's been charred up and knocked down. But what can the rest of the team do? Kreis has been knocked over the wall by the kick, and as a result can't do anything with the Mega Gnar. And Vanir secure a triple kill for the rookie, the Div 2 player. Merbs on the Ezreal, looking to secure a fourth here. And it is there, a quadra kill, if slightly unofficial.
Wow.
For the Ezreal.
The Swedish AD carries today, man. They're just completely cracked. Michigan, the Samira completely 1v9, and now Merbs playing super solid in this fight. Lux looked so good initially, right? I mean, obviously Dan kind of forced to go for this play if he wants to get to the soul point, but after that, you feel like Excel, they're just in chambers. They go for try to one-shot. M&S does so much damage, but it's not enough.
Yeah, and he can't get out to safety, and then Kreis is over the wall, the rest of the team is not, and suddenly you just don't get much else to do, and now this Ezreal, very, very dangerous at this point. We said, look, Aatrox not going to have the easiest time at this game. It's felt okay when people are diving into you at this point, and on the other side, Merbs increasingly difficult to deal with. 7-1 and 6, 3 items complete. M&S, though, always a danger, continuing to try and threaten the likes of Kraox.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess Attila, you know, has the 26-minute rule, but here in Sweden, we have the 20-minute rule where you just completely go...
I think you'll find this is Germany, though I appreciate the fact.
I mean, super impressive for Merbs. He goes for the Eclipse as well, which is something that I really like when you're playing against these champs as LeBlanc, the Nocturne, also Lucian has a lot of burst.
Don't know how much this Aatrox wants to be there. Enough of your analysis. We've got fights to talk about. Heziro is fleeing. Heziro is dead.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... He was just feeling himself, really. He's just completely alone on the bot side, trying to pressure as much as he can, but not really enough. Gets caught. It's not gonna do a lot for the game state, but it's still really nice to get some gold there.
Over the wall. It's edge of your seat action. I'm hoping those seats are actually very comfortable, and that's one we've seen already, so I'll change that one around. There you go. Taju is looking very lovely with a projector on the wall, no less.
Yeah, and the only thing I can say is actually his bed seems kind of made, so I'm not going to flame him.
Okay, you were literally setting up to flame him. That's very rude. Hashtag NLC at home. I'll try not to replay tweets next time, eh? And what a beautiful projector setup you've got there.
Kind of leveling up.
Yeah, indeed. We've had some seriously good battle stations today. I am well impressed. Oh, NLC fans. You've done us proud.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. It's just kind of keep leveling up. You know, we saw the touch the grass battle station at first, and then we're kind of leveling up with the insane looking setup on the third one, and now with the projector. What are we going to see next? Someone watching in a cinema?
Clearly, I like that battle station so much, I subconsciously decided to bring it up twice. Though I appreciate that they've got the books to raise the monitor a little higher on that one, which was quite entertaining. Bringing it back to the game, though, as it stands. Only 1,000 gold apart. 1 dragon difference right now. Difference big time, though, is the map state, really. Only 1 turret for JDXL versus a couple for Vanir, including a critical one in the mid lane. M&S and Dan, though, going to continue trying to be as proactive in finding those picks as they can. On the side, we've called it already. Merbs on this Ezreal, Kraox on this Lee Sin. So deadly for their team right now.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure, right? And I just feel like the momentum is kind of on his favor right now. Obviously, Merbs super strong on this Ezreal, and this is kind of the thing about Lucian as well. It's without the Nami, I think it's super hard to pilot in this team fight. It's so much easier for Ezreal, even if it's not this fed, to be able to dish out the damage. Vanir really has to play kind of pixel perfect in his upcoming fights. He has so many threats, right? The Ahri, the Lee Sin kick, the Heziro, who is super strong on this Aatrox. And let's see if Heziro is going to get caught here. No, he's more safe this time around.
Honestly, for JDXL, they're looking for picks, for 3v2s, 3v3s even, rather than those big team fights, where you can bring the LeBlanc and the Lucian and the Nocturne all together to blow up one person and then use that man advantage. it's not been as easy to find those as they would like. Some of those bot side 3v3s went, unfortunately, even for XL, where Vanir very happily picked up a number of those kills around there earlier. And now, in some of these bigger team fights, we're seeing how powerful Vanir's comp can be. 30 seconds until another Infernal Drake is spawned. All the while, though, XL are deciding maybe not really in the position to fight it, going to use his time to split push a little instead. Yeah,
and I think it's a really good point that you bring up, right? I think XL for sure doesn't want to 5-5 right now into the likes of Vanir. That means that you're kind of gonna have to be forced to give up this Drake, which they can. I mean, Vanir still has so much long time when they get to the soul, but I wanna say that M&S based, it's still gonna be 10 seconds to Drake, but it looks like they're gonna contest it anyways.
Baron's up, so maybe they decide that if they can control the mid wave, they could threaten that, and they've got some damage on it, in fairness, just always a risky call. Dragon will now spawn in just here as M&S has arrived in time, looking to get over the wall, has thrown out a distortion, will have the Mimic available. Now that's down, and honestly, this Dragon is secured just like that. No real contest available for XL.
Yeah, and this makes me kind of confused, right? Obviously, I think we could both tell, obviously we have a map back here, right? We can see everything that's going on the map. We kind of knew that XL was not going to be able to contest that, but I'm just kind of surprised to see M&S base in there. I think they could have gotten so much more, maybe even the tier 2 top. This is what you kind of have to do.
So M&S went over the wall and he was on a ward. They know he's there. They don't go quite well, though! Oh my god! Another solo kill, now they can keep hunting down at M&S. The superstars, the carries, the playmakers. It's a double for M&S. They knew he was in the bush. They didn't read quite where he was. They couldn't guess it. M&S punishes them for playing the guessing game. Sometimes you lose, the luck of the draw was not with them.
Yeah, Mervs, you know, having the exhaust back up, but I'm not going to talk too much about that because Kratos is going to go for the steal here.
That is your 7-kill Ezreal, who is off the rip for another 10 seconds, down to 5,000 HP. Kraox is here, is going to get chained, takes a lot of damage, that's hop over the wall, but he gets out of the culling. The Cathedral try and hunt him. He now flashes away. Dan and FGG are still on the Baron, and Kraox has been forced away. He cannot get in. Baron secure. JDXL, off a little bit of magic and a little bit of luck, find themselves the big purple worm.
Whenever you think that, well, you know, Vanir is looking good, they're looking stable, you can never count M&S out. As you mentioned, they knew that he was in that bush, but I mean, Mercedes gets surprised still, it looks like. Didn't have time to, actually, by the looks of it, exhaust was on cooldown, I assume. But the flash, nonetheless, could have been used, but M&S, you know, too fast on his combo.
W-E. And you go.
Also, you know, getting the Nautilus flash. I mean, M&S just, as I mentioned, you can never count this guy out. Doesn't matter if he, you know, he whiffs something in the lane, got solo kill. Doesn't matter. He's still gonna be such a menace in every single part of the game. And now they have a Nash on their hands with the kind of 1-3-1 comp that we talked about. Let's see how much damage they can do. And
now I'm looking at a death cap in M&S's inventory. If he wasn't popping Merps before, I think he'll be popping him now.
Man, this guy is so annoying, man.
There are 2 stopways in inventory for Ericsson and Merps, and I think they are quite necessary right now, as M&S has found a very terrifying
Man, he's level 16. Like, how?
That's what he gets for split pushing. That's the solo experience. He's just gonna go. Where is he? He's looking for Ericsson. No. 2-level advantage. That's a dead Lamont. Oh my god, doesn't quite manage to find it. The ult is popped. He can't quite get the kill, but half the health bar of the Ahri disappears. Not dead LeBlanc, a dead Ahri is what I was looking for. Either way, one femme fatale just about gets out alive as the other tries to look for the solo kill. Cries in a spot of bother as Ericsson uses the last charge of the Spirit Rush to get out of dodge. And Ericsson is a player we had some worries about potentially coming into Division 1. Got demoted out of Div 2. We've seen him in NLC and he's never really had the best time, but great early start to this game. Very proactive early on. Problem is right now M&S has decided to come and show why he is so dominant in this league, as his play towards the mid and later stage of this game has been pretty terrifying. Oh,
this is...
doesn't quite steal it.
Still a splash.
Goes back to dodge the engage that gets it back in for a ethereal chain as well. It is all a bait and switch, and they get Kraox. He's down.
It just goes so fast. Right? Do they think that they can maybe catch M&S out? As I say that, Hessero comes up with a TP, but not gonna accomplish much. I was gonna say before that it's just so crazy that you have to respect M&S this much. You know, Ericsson, if that plan was not there, he was gonna get solo killed, and he has to respect, even so close to his base, he just has to play scared against M&S. And I mean, I just have to go back to this. Like, even though Ericsson was super solid in the lane, he was constantly first on objectives, constantly first on the bot dive. M&S now, as you mentioned, with the split push, is 2 levels up, and he's just been taking over, man.
Look, I know LeBlanc has a magic trick which makes your health bar disappear, but I'd like to see a new trick at this point, please. Just like that gold was in Ericsson's favor 10 minutes ago. That has been a rapid switch over towards M&S. Couple solo kills, a massive shutdown on Merbs, a Baron power play, and certainly the gold looking significantly better for JDXL, whose early game woes seem a long way behind them now.
And this is just what you cannot afford to happen, right? You know, Vanir put so many eggs into the Merbs basket, which is, I mean, rightfully so, right? He played super well in Monday's game. He was super clean on the Saya. But when stuff like this happen, you are so fed. You have basically all your team's gold. Then you get one shot. You're just completely out of it. So much gold being lost there. As I say that though, Ericsson with the TP coming in, 25 seconds to the third Drake.
M&S was looking for a little bit of poke there, but Merbs now with a stopwatch and a Hex Drinker trying their absolute best to not have that happen again. There is no real full penetration for the likes of M&S right now. He's got a Shadow Flame and a Zork Boot, so some decent flat pen, but no Void Staff yet. So the Hex Drinker definitely going to be providing some decent utility right now. All the same though, Cries get through one tower and will get through the inhibitor tower in trade. Yes, the Drake is up, but Cries must be answered in the side lane as the World Ender pop from Hestia. And I don't know how well he's going to trade out. Forces a flash from Cries. He's a long way off Mega. That's a decent trade out. They know where he is from the force alteration, but the Death Dance is actually going to force the Flash to try and trade that one out. Won't quite happen now with that advantage. They get in onto the Ari. She's knocked up and knocked down. Ericsson will fall, but so will M&S, who got popped. But now Crayox is dead. Merbs gets hit by the Q and has got a health bar to work with, but they just don't feel safe enough. And now it'll be Infernal Soul point towards JDXL.
Man, they just forced the base or Christ is gonna end the game, man. It's so looking on Tessar. It's level 18, man. This guy is popping off completely with the Triforce, with the Wits End, completely split push build. He's going for more, man. He
knows what he needs to do in this game. The Aatrox couldn't make it work. Yes, he got the flash, but the Death Dance burn and walking into a bush blind costs him his life. It costs them an inhibitor and a Nexus tower, and Zaremba and Merbs are forced to leave the contest around the Infernal Drake. You might get M&S, but look at what you lost.
They're losing everything, man. Getting the third Drake as well on XL. They're getting the soul point, and now they have such a sizable lead. What looked like it was such a small, not a small thing, but M&S got. It all started with that catch on to Merbs, right? And they get the Nautilus as well, getting the Nash, and after that it's just kind of history. XL is such an experienced team. Of course they're gonna know how to play the silence with the Baron. They get so much from that. Now they just snowball this. It just looks super clean from here, from XL.
Now with the Dead Man's Plate in inventory as well, so much easier to play the spacing game. You've got Executioner's calling and Hezero, this Aatrox. We saw some brilliance from it in the mid game. We saw the solo kill onto the Gnar earlier on towards the end of the laning phase, but right now it just doesn't feel like there's many answers into Cries. M&S building towards a fourth item. Merbs at 4 items himself, though, has got to be a Terror himself. M&S, good God, gets another solo kill. Dan did pop the ultimate, but it wasn't really required. Well, Paranoia in just to sort of give his mid laner a clap on the back. Solo kills by hiding in the wolf pit.
It's literally ulting there just to high five his mid laner as M&S just one-taps Hezero, which, I mean, it is so grim, man. I just respect M&S for, he can play so many different champions, you know, Finn.
Oh, the foliage in the jungle ain't trees, it's black roses.
Show,
they're blooming all over the place, not just once more, all the damn time. Turns out it's all in season as M&S hops forward one more time. Won't be able to pop that Sigil of Malice this time, but Crayox's Death Dance burns him down to about half HP, and M&S at level 17 just continues to haunt the jungles, and they'll move back towards this Baron with the two-man advantage.
You have to feel like Vanir has to kind of contest this. They have the TP onto the Aatrox. Nautilus not going to be up for the fight.
There, gonna find more damage into the chain. The double Q will cause some damage.
It's just gone.
And it just disappears. Decimated by the damaging Crayox, down at half HP. The Paranoia's back up, tries to dash away, but it's not far enough. Down into the backside does have GA, so will not fall quite yet. M&S throwing down the ethereal chains. On a rampage is Venza, who finds himself the Aatrox. I might be the enemy, says Aatrox, but I'm going to die very swiftly to the heroic actions of an Ignite on Lucian.
I actually completely forgot about the fact he still has the Ignite. Oh, so much damage though coming.
Okay, well, Venza now wishing he might have a heal as he takes a vast quantity of damage from a true shot barrage courtesy of Merbs at nearly full build. But they're going to retreat with the Baron in inventory. Cries will move over towards the Krugs to steal a little bit more gold while he can. And XL are now 11,000 gold in the lead. They've got 2 minutes until what will be an Infernal Soul. They've got 4 items on their mid laner, 5 on their AD carry. And whatever early game troubles it's now smooth sailing. There seems like nothing that Vanir can do.
Yeah, and I mean, we just look at the team comps, right? Vanir kind of wants to play this kind of team fight where Merv's getting a lot of help. He's able to dish out the damage, but in these fights, both MNS and Dan with the paranoia, they never let him damage, man. They just kind of one-tap someone from the beginning. The Mervs has to fall back. He has the Maw, but it's not nearly enough. He needs like the Cerillas as well, but even then, it's so hard for Vanir to set up a fight.
M&S just hops back again a little. Remember, this is a man who has demolished the regular season in the NLC. He's 2 levels above pretty much anybody you care to mention who's not named Hess Zero on the enemy team. He's got 5 levels over Zaremba. That Nautilus is a very leaky diver right now. Over the wall he goes, got so much damage, it'll force a stopwatch out of Ericsson. But the paranoia, the lights are out, and they go. Dan gets charmed, but the culling follows afterwards. It's a dead Ari, the Temptress is gone. There is just nothing left to do. Playtime is over, and it's JDXL who've decided to get serious at the end of this. What a double for Dan. Down 1, Flare comes out, and they're going to 3 if they can get a little bit more to end it all. Merbs and Krayox, the 2 new superstars who did so well in the early game, cannot get it over the finish line. And JDXL, they struggled a little in the early game, but it'll be a 2-0 week for them.
Man, it looked grim in the beginning, but he had such control.